All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who does lead and root well. And salutation to all you hopeful like Akim pushing out this word in sincerity and in truth to the four corners of the earth. And sincere Shalom to you, Akim and Akwaf, listening and learning, preparing yourselves here in these last days. And to the entire household of faith, I want to say Shalom. This is the brother Dequar from the DC camp. Come back at you with another lesson, and I'm entitled it "The Forbidden Fruit." All right. I've just recently did a video talking about one of the wiles of the devil being feminism, and I likened it to Eve and the serpent in the garden. All right. Now, contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think that that fruit, the forbidden fruit, was an actual fruit. You know, some people actually think it's an apple, but you can go into the history on that. But it's actually not a fruit. It's an actual philosophy, man. You know, it's a what is it? An idea. You know, which is not of our nation. See, we was the Israelites, which we were the children of God back then. One of the special groups of the Adamites was given the law, statutes, and commandments, which is why he said that we can eat of every tree, but of this tree that you cannot eat of, you know. But anyways, let me read a little bit, and Lord's will, I can bring some edification on, it just bringing out the metaphor, all right, and the symbolism. Because when you even look it up, they will say that the symbolism or the metaphor for the forbidden fruit represented, sin. Let me look it up real quick. Fruit. It says, an immoral or illegal pleasure. All right? Because we was told not to do it. Let me see. So this is Genesis 2 and verse 16. It says, and Yahweh power commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest, therefore thou shalt surely die. Right. And when they ate of that fruit, they didn't die immediately. All right. It was a death that, let me get this. This is Proverbs 21 verse 26. It says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. All right. So we lost our understanding. All right. The tree of life was closed off into us. So we didn't have a way back into that until Yahweh Shai had to die and loose those seals. So that we had a way back to the tree of life. This is why Yahweh Shai also said, well, it was said that we are gods, but we shall die like men. All right. Let me get that. This is well, I thought it was in Psalms. Yeah. This is Psalm 82 verse 6. It says, I've said ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High. Yeah. And we was the children of the Most High that he was speaking to. All right. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. All right. Now, the wages of sin is death. So when they ate of the fruit of that tree, it led them into death. Now we are able to die. Now, if they never did that, they would have never died, man. You know? So now it opened up us the pathway to death. Just like what's that scripture? Yeah, this is Hosea 10 verse 13. It says, "Ye have plowed wickedness, ye have reaped iniquity, ye have eaten the fruit of lies." You see that? You have eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way in the multitude of thy mighty men. And that's going to lead them into the way of death, man. Let me see. Isaiah 13. No. Yep. It says, "Therefore shall a tumult arise among thy people, and all thy fortresses shall be spoiled. And Shalman spoiled Betharbel in the day of battle. The mother was dashed in pieces upon her children." You know, so you reap what you sow. You know, if you would have sowed to yourself righteousness, you would have reaped in that righteousness and mercy. You know. So a lot of that stuff in the book of Genesis was symbolism, even the trees. Because let's go back. Genesis 2 and I think, well, I'm gonna go to the third chapter. Oh, and that serpent was a man too, right? This is Genesis 3 verse 1. It says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yeah, have the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?" Now, like I said, the serpent was a man, and we're going to get that. Revelation. This is Revelation 12. Revelation 20 verse 2. It says, "And laid hope in, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years." All right. So letting you know that it was talking about a man. Because this in Revelation 20 was referring to these Edomites, you know, being loose during that Renaissance period to deceive the earth. But they was bound 1,000 years, and that was during the Dark Ages, man. Let me read verse 3. It says, "And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set the seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season." All right. And we in that little season. This devil's been loosed. All right. Now, one more. Excuse me. I'm trying to find it. It also talked about you of your father, the devil. He was murdered from the beginning. Talking about Cain, you know. Just letting you know that the devil is a man. He said he gonna cast some of us into prison. All right. So it's all a symbolism. You know, you call somebody a snake because he a deceptive little motherfucker, man. You know. Let me jump down. And the reason why I liked the feminism, because the woman, she looked at it and it was delightful to her eyes, just like feminism. You get to be equal to the man. You know, you can have the same power as the man. But look at the fruit that is yielded, man. This is Romans 6 verse 21. It says, "What fruit had ye in those things whereof ye are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death." You see? Excuse me. And then let's get to the trees part. I'm gonna keep reading a little bit. Yeah, this is Genesis 3, verse 6. It says, and when a woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. Ain't no fruit gonna make nobody wise, man. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both of them were open, and they knew that they were naked. Now, was their eyes closed before? Because then how did she see that it was pleasant to the eyes? You see? And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and that they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Now, let's see what that word is for opened. Man, they was able to see their shame. I don't see that word. Okay, here we go. Padak. Padak, to open eyes, to be open. It says to be observant. Yeah, as opposed to blindness. Yeah, because they understood, they knew wickedness now, man. It says, verse 8. It said, oh, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons, and they heard the voice of Yahweh power walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden. So I'm going to show you that all these the trees that they hid themselves amongst wasn't actual trees, man. Not all the times when it's talking about the serpent, was it talking about a damn devil? Was it talking fruit? Wasn't talking about an actual fruit, or or a snake. That's what I meant about the serpent, or the trees wasn't even actual trees, man. All the time. So you got many metaphors for trees, man. This is hey, you even got something known as the family tree. You know, that's how you know. It also talks about fruit as a man, second address. Well, I'm trying to see. Okay, this is Ezekiel 31, verse let me see. All right. Yahweh Shai even talks about himself as being a true vine. All right. Now, I will have to really read from the top, and I'm not trying to, but I'll just read verse 4, from verse 3. This is Ezekiel 31, verse 3. It says, behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon, with fair branches and with a shadowing shrewd, and high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs. The waters made him great, the deep set him up on high, with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent out little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Therefore his height was exalted above the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shoot forth. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field. Now, a lot of times it's talking about beasts, it's talking about those heathens, because they're known as beasts, because they haven't been given the law, statutes, and commandments, the way of life. All right, they react based upon lust, impulse, more so. It says, therefore his height is exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he showed forth. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations. You see that? Under his shadow dwelt all great nations. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of God envied him. All right, so this is talking about like are trees going to envy each other? No, it's talking about people, man. You know, and how the Lord exalted them. So let's keep going. Uh, you got even Judges, the 9th chapter. Like I said, I'm not going to get all these scriptures. All right. Now I want to get this one last thing that I was thinking. Salakia. This is Isaiah 1 verse. I'm just trying to hurry up because I got to go to camp. It's not. I went to the wrong thing. This is Isaiah 1 verse 20. It says, Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake Yahweh shall be consumed. For they shall be ashamed of the oaks which ye have desired, and ye shall be confounded for the gardens that ye have chosen. See? For ye shall be as an oak whose leaf fadeth, and as a garden that hath no water. And the strong shall be as tow, and the maker of it as spark, and they shall both burn together, and none shall quench them. So these is when they chose these gardens. Now, it was another scripture. Yeah, Jeremiah 2. And it's going to let you know. It's Jeremiah 2 verse okay, I'm going to start up because I wanted to get something before then. This is Jeremiah 2 verse 11. It says, have a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods, but my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit. Yeah, when you choosing of these other philosophies, it says, be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye desolate. Be ye very desolate, saith Yahweh. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewn themselves out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. And the scriptures tell us that we ought to drink of our own cisterns, man. It says, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities also burnt without inhabitants. Also the children of Noph and Tephanes have broken the crown of thy head. Hast thou not procured this unto thyself, in that thou hast forsaken Yahweh thy power when he led thee by the way? Just like in the garden, he told you what to eat and what not to eat. You know? Thine own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that this is an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken Yahweh thy power, and that my fear is not with thee, saith Yahweh, power of hosts. Exactly. Because he already told you to be obedient. It says, for of old time, here's the point, for of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. All right. So under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Now harlot meaning you committing adultery, because you into all these different philosophies other than what the Lord has given you. When you go into what's that? Let me get that real quick. Yeah. This is Sirach 17, verse 17. For in the division of all the nations, for in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he has set ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. All right. So we the Lord's portion, man. Everything else we were supposed to deny. You know. See, now you're gonna have people that's gonna have to eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with your own devices. You know, or if you're obedient, you can get back to the fruit of the tree of life. All right, this is. Then I'm gonna close on this one. This is yeah, this is Sirach 19 verse 19. It says, "The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please Him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality." All right. So when you're obedient, you will receive of the fruit of the tree of immortality. But if not, then you're gonna have to eat the fruit of your own doings, man. You see? Yeah, this is this is Proverbs 1 verse 29 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh, they would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearken unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from the fear of evil. And when you go back into what was it, Jeremiah or Isaiah, is Israel's servant, is he a homeborn slave? Yeah, that's why we had to hide amongst the nations where we was not loved. You know, you trying to take on their philosophies, and you a second class citizen, man. And another way to show you that it was a philosophy when it talks about we are drunken but not with wine. Well, what is wine made from grapes, man, which is a fruit. We stagger not with strong drink, and this is why you ought to be sober. Okay. I had a few more points, but Lord willing, the point was made, or brothers can add points, precepts, and things like that, to hammer down a point. And this is a part of casting down them imaginations that these Christians put up, man, destroying those lies and giving the true interpretations of the scriptures, so that the people can run that readeth it. All right, so with that, Lord willing, I was edifying. Until the next one, I want to say shalom.